If we watched the spring game the other day, did you get to watch any of it, Matt?
I did. I watched the first half.
Okay.
I could not watch 2 whole halves of spring.
What'd you think
games.
about it? What'd you think about it?
I
I watched it for 3 hours Sunday night.
Were you like the tape?
Yes. I watched a replay online to try to really break it down.
You could have watched like the first couple of plays and then just rewatch those couple of plays over and over, and then you watch the whole game.
That is basically true. But I have to. So if you kind of tuned in, whatever you tuned into, what do you think about the quarterback play?
I thought the quarterbacks played fine.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
They didn't play bad.
Yeah. Sounds like spring.
It sounds like spring. Have I ever told you guys that I hate spring games?
You have.
No,
Yeah,
why?
I despise them.
Why?
And nobody likes to play in them, especially quarterbacks.
No. I will say though, it was kind of. I mean, once you get a vet, it's definitely like we got a party to get to after this, dude.
Yeah.
It's like the end of spring. Let's
But
go.
it's so
make this
annoying
happen.
because it's like the last practice of spring. No one likes spring practice in general as a player. And you go through this whole practices are where it counts in spring.
Yes.
And so you got these quarterbacks and receivers and offensive line that are every day they're installing. Defense is always installing something new in practice. So you're going from seeing these third and exotic looks to playing red zone to 2-minute drop, all these cool things you're doing. And then they're like, all right, we got to do something for the fans here. Spring game, we're going to run 4 plays, and you're going to see 1 defense.
They played one free, I think, 85% of the time.
Yeah, so it was man free the whole time, and so that's because you're not showing anything to anybody. I mean, it's pretty vanilla.
I kind of loved it as a young player fighting for a starting job, though, because I was really struggling with the playbook, I remember. Mm-hmm. And then because everything was so simplified in the spring game, I balled out in it. Because the calls were so easy, and I could just focus on physicality of it.
But you got to know that in the spring game, the coaches basically just burn that film.
Yeah. I mean, that is
You'll go
true.
back every now and then. So pretty much everything you do in spring, it just gets erased and everything.
But you can at least prove that physically you can hang. If you were in my shoes and you were struggling with the playbook,
sure.
Physically, I was able to prove that if I could get it right,
you felt like you played better.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because I did. I wasn't thinking as much. I wouldn't have to make calls, and so it was so easy. And so I played way better. So I at least prove to myself and the coaches that physically I could get the job done. And that's what I saw out of Anthony Bradford the other day, who's a big boy, dude. That dude has that sumo E-Honda from Street Fighter level of kind of body and style. But if I have to kind of read through the tea leaves on Coach O's answer on him yesterday, it does seem like he was in my boat where he was like, we were really proud of he didn't have a lot of MAs in the spring game. And so that tells me, maybe he's struggling with the third and exotics and whatnot.
Yeah, I would say in the trenches and linebacker plays, probably your best clear picture of how people are physically performing in a spring game. Wide receiver, DB, no. There is a lot of you probably get a lot of paper tigers at DB at spring games because they're playing man free. Yeah. They've gone against the same receiver for 5 straight weeks. Yeah. They're running the same routes, and now you get in a game where they're going to run a 5-yard hitch, 12-yard out, 16-yard comeback, and that's about it.
Hey, what about the fake spike though? Did you see they ran a fake spike touchdown before half, which I think the only time I've ever seen in my life was Dan Marino on the Dolphins back in the day, right?
Jets, I think probably 90.
I don't know. I just never seen that
your boy Aaron Rodgers did it against the Dolphins in Miami.
Okay, there. Of course he did, dude. My guy A-Rod.
They hosted Jeopardy. Yeah,
hosted Jeopardy,
That's
dude.
Your guy.
I do. I like I said, I've come around.
Uh-huh.
I may have made a YouTube title calling him the biggest fraud in the NFL going into the season. Not a great take, considering he took home the MVP. But hey, man, you take a lot of shots in this job, and sometimes you miss very, very badly.
That's good. That's good. But I will say this: so the quarterbacks, I thought, all played well. I have heard a lot of takes about, and maybe y'all can enlighten me a little bit about how a lot of people are thinking that Miles and Max have kind of separated themselves, and I'm just kind of wondering, I'm not disagreeing with that or agreeing with it. I'm just kind of wondering why.
I think that's as
people are
simple
saying
as
that.
TJ just throwing the 2 picks.
Right.
Yeah,
So
because
it's all everyone's basing that on the spring game.
oh, absolutely. Maybe
I don't
through
think
the
I
grapevine.
mean-
yeah, that's true. Maybe through the grapevine, we've heard a little bit that
I don't think
they
I
separated.
am. So for me, it's because, okay, you both got their opportunities. I'm talking about the freshmen last year, really all three got their opportunities in game action. And I think that Miles played really well in the games that he played in. He got better. Like after the first half of Mississippi State, Miles played really well. Max played well down the stretch, going into the swamp and beating Florida.
Yeah, Max had like the most passing yards of any LSU quarterback in history for like the first 3 games.
Yeah, and then
that.
then Keishawn Butte caught for like over 300 against Ole Miss.
So he did really well, and TJ played good against South Carolina, but then obviously he struggled against A&M and struggled against Alabama. But a lot of teams struggle against Alabama. But so there's that, right? You get to see that, and you kind of remember him against SEC opponents. And then coming into the spring, it does seem like the others have progressed maybe a little bit. And then you do see, like, TJ's got all the talent in the world. And I'm not counting him completely out of this job. But, like, the thing that we were joking about yesterday where he does throw off his back foot and he does throw the interception in double coverage, when you have a crosser right in front of you that's going to pick up 10, 15, 20 yards, like, those are the things I still need to see him get rid of.
Yep.
And it's the spring game and it's generic, but that's easy. That's pitch and catch. This guy's uncovered. This guy's double covered. Don't show off the arm. Take the 15 yards.
Yeah, I'd like to see if he had a tendency to do that all spring, kind of
lock in
the one
pre-snap.
out of, not necessarily lock in, because I don't think he locks in. You don't play as well as he did for even one drive as a true freshman in SEC ball if you're that guy. Now, there's a lot of quarterbacks out there that are, and everybody goes through it at some point. You can play great for 20 straight plays, but then you just have one brain fart, and you throw it into double coverage, or you get a little too cocky about. And so Matt Stafford used to do that at Georgia. Matt Stafford was one of the best arm talent guys, but he knew it.
Yeah,
and he would throw it into triple coverage. Now we used to call that cover 3. It's kind of like a joke, triple coverage. But he would complete a lot of them, but he'd also throw a lot of picks, especially early. So yes, you want to see him, but I want to know if it's that random, just he's 19 years old or 18 or whatever he is, and he just made a brain fart, or is this a consistent thing that was happening every day in practice? I don't think it was, because if I had to get thrown in there straight out of high school and play, I would have had to change my pants 3 times.
I don't judge.
I wouldn't have done anywhere close to as well as they did.
I might have remembered us being roommates when you were a redshirt freshman and you got the call that in Capital One Bowl you were going to play. I saw a couple nerves.
Yeah, it was a little bit. I always hated coming off the bench.
Right.
Shout out.
It's T-Bob that came off the bench.
I always hated off the
did.
bench. Save that. Yeah, save that for the save that for the audio. No, look, I'm not judging TJ at all last year, because I was of the opinion that at the end of last year I didn't see a huge difference between TJ and Max. I thought that when you looked at TJ's up and down performances, like the games where he did bad, the O-line got their ass kicked. Right. And he was just put in horrible situations throughout the game. Now, maybe you could argue with Max's legs. He's better suited to overcoming that. But yeah, I think mainly if you're talking about the general public sentiment, I think it is a spring game, and I think it's the interceptions versus what Max and Miles did, which is a slightly cleaner game.
Yeah, I just want to kind of pump the brakes on everybody's, I guess, feelings, quarterback feelings coming out of this. I mean, I was hearing things yesterday there's an over-under on when TJ transfers, and I'm like, whoa, guys, where are we getting this info from? But I thought they all did well. There's a couple of mistakes, but then again, you also have to take in the mentality of it's a spring game, and it's a spring game.
And so with that in mind, okay, so here's a quote from Keishawn Butte after spring game. Quote, "There's more to show in 2021 for sure. Just look forward to it. That's all I'm going to say." That's a guy right there who is mad because the offense, lost the day, but you feel like handcuffed because you weren't actually allowed to run your offense. TJ Finley. Our talent is crazy right now. I cannot wait till the fall to be able to show you guys how much better we have grown as a unit this offseason, this spring. It's going to be a sight to see.
it also should be pointed out that TJ was picked to start over Max last season. So
Yes.
there was some things he showed in practice leading up to the point when Miles got hurt, where he was the first guy out there. So he has impressed coaches during his time at LSU, right? And now it's about which one can progress faster to be able to compete for this job.
The race is on.
And Miles is in that too. Like, Miles played really well in 3 games, but Miles has the same amount of experience that the other guys have on the field, right? I mean, they all played against SEC opponents last year, so we have that sample size to kind of go off of. And you have to keep all 3 of these guys, really all 4 of these guys, engaged because, one, what you talked about, like, you want to make sure that you have these guys on your roster when the season starts, and also competition at that position is the best to have it at, in my opinion. I know watching you and Jamarcus, and Perry was never going to be in the conversation to start over y'all, but he was at least there and was talented, and y'all pushed each other, and that was like a real competition battle that brought the best out of everyone.
Yeah, I mean, I think as an LSU fan, we can all be happy that the QB room's so healthy because we all know everyone's capable. And to break it down a little bit, I mean, if Miles is the day one starter, and if they said this summer, Miles is our quarterback from day one of training camp, I think we all believe that he could be all SEC. I mean, he could.
Connor O'Gara just said he thinks he would be the 3rd best quarterback in the SEC if he was announced as a starter.
Yeah, I mean, going into it, I mean, he has the potential if they run the offense all the time. I mean, the sky's the limit. I think we all would back that. The other 2, we don't really know still because they're so young, but obviously if they're beating out a guy that we think that highly of, then there's potential. Now, Max has shown a lot of composure, shown a lot of
He's got them intangibles on lock, son. Like, you would never guess how young that cat is.
No, you're right. And but he's got to work. I think he escapes the pocket a little too quick. I think he's his feet get a little happy.
Yep.
Every now and then. Now, then
Sat
he does
in your
some
feet,
stuff.
Max.
And then but in the spring game, you saw he stepped up, made a good little corner throw. The guy was wide open, but he still made it was right on the money. TJ, arm talent, like the first drive he was in, he was backed up. He was inside his own 5. It is hard to sit in the pocket when you're backed up.
Yeah.
It's especially the first drive of a game. It always sucks. That's why I wanted the ball first on offense. Because at least you're going to get on the 20.
There's no better feeling than like starting on the 40. It looks
so
such
good,
a short porch to the
starting
end
on
zone.
like the 3-yard line like TJ did in the spring game, it sucks. But then he throws a dart over the middle and completes a pass. I mean, there's mistakes, but so there's good, there's bad, but I think overall it's very healthy and it's a very healthy room.
And then you got Nuss, who's just really young and exciting, and I think will challenge for the starting job next year. I think this fall's probably a little too soon, but he feels way ahead of schedule. So. Okay.
Unless one of the freshmen start and do great, then he won't challenge.
Yeah, right. I mean, exactly. It's who knows.
We got maybe like a Justin Fields situation going.
Then you got Walker Howard coming in as well.
Now we're just spinning way out into the future, multiple realities. Okay, look, coming up next is we do every Wednesday, a little Would You Rather Wednesday here on Off the Bench. Stick around, 104.5 ESPN.